The average tuition and fees for a four-year university can add up to about $20,000 a year. That according to Business Insider. Cheaper and quicker options like trade schools and certificate programs, they're starting to see a surge in popularity. With the older generation of trades workers nearing retirement, trade school instructors across Siouxland say there's an even bigger need for new workers. And with that big need, it could drive up workers' pay. It's something that Northeast Community College's HVAC instructor John Nelson has called the perfect storm.
We have a lot of available jobs. People are starting to show interest in those jobs, and they've realized that the people that go get their four-year education and struggle to find a job, that problem doesn't exist for these technical trades.
Tonight, KTIV's Connor Trett takes a closer look at the growing popularity of trade schools and the skills they teach here in Siouxland.
Alex Kaiser is a recent graduate of the Midwest Welding Academy in Sioux City. He, like many others across the nation, chose the trades over a traditional four-year college or university.
I was a really big trades kid in high school. I did a lot of trades work, and it's just something I enjoy doing. I like working with my hands, and it's just easier for me. I didn't really like school that much, and I figured that going to like a 6-7 month program really worked for me.
Nationwide, more students have shown interest in learning a trade, and trade schools in Siouxland like Northeast Community College in Norfolk have seen growing interest in their programs.
Over the last 3 years, we've seen an increase of students seeking out our programs. We've kind of really maxed out our spaces a little bit, but we're continuing to see where further opportunities are at.
At these schools, students are given resources to pick up a new skill, and they get a chance to learn from experts in the field. Another resource that trade schools offer students is hands-on training while earning their certification, something that's invaluable to the students when searching for employment after graduation.
They take you to a job site and put you to work. I know my first job, we went to Tyson over in Dakota City, and I learned how to do hot works for the first time, how to put on a harness. I had to wear an air monitor. It really taught me a lot about what I need to know and really what I need to do in order to be successful in this field.
Students in the trades can earn their certification in a fraction of the time it would take to get a four-year degree.
21 months or so.
1 year, 2 semesters.
5 months?
They'll start on a Monday and end on a Friday 6 weeks later.
So they're able to quickly enter the workforce where their services are needed.
I always tell my students if they want a job, there's one there. I've had a couple of calls already for people that are looking for students that will graduate in May, and we're over 2 months out yet.
Connor Trett, KTIV News 4.
If you're interested in trade school, we have links to the schools that Connor just featured. Just check out the story right now at KTIV.com.